And in another decade's time, will be larger than Ethereum.
So this, of course, is Charles Hoskinson, founder of Cardano, talking about his project, of which he's very proud, obviously. And if you've been around a while, then you probably know that Hoskinson is kind of the antithesis of a big hype guy. Kind of think of him as the opposite of Justin Sun in a way, not to single him out in particular, but there are a lot of those types in crypto, right? Hype projects, hype marketing branches of projects, hype founders. Hoskinson is not like that at all. So this is actually a departure for Hoskinson. He's kind of in rare form here. He's got some very concrete reasons to be bullish on Cardano and, of course, the price of ADA. We'll explore all the variables and answer the question as to whether or not that excitement is justified. Welcome to the channel. My name is Maddie and this is Altcoin Buzz. All the best of luck if you choose to invest. Okay, if you're in this space, whether it's ADA or other altcoins that we examine on a regular basis. If you're involved, then good luck. I genuinely wish you well. But just remember that I'm not a financial or investment advisor, despite my best wishes. Keep that in mind. And also remember that this video by extension is not official financial or investment advice. So first and foremost, one of the major reasons, probably the primary reason why Charles Hoskinson is so bullish on his project, Cardano, is his involvement with the incoming Trump administration. That's a White House, the Trump White House that is, that's taking power very soon. We're now within a week. That's happening on the 20th of January. And Trump, actually, he has said publicly a few times now that he's going to have a crypto policy team specifically. And that vision is one that we've been waiting for a while now, to be fair, but it's becoming slowly but surely more and more clear. And the thing about Hoskinson is that he will not only be on this team, but there's a chance that he's going to be organizing the team for the Trump administration, which of course that's bullish not only for Cardano, but really more broadly the entire industry. This is going to be a big boon for crypto as a sector in terms of validating it, in terms of really justifying it. I think it represents a certain level of maturity if these are the steps that are being taken, right? Trump basically believes that pro-crypto policy is also pro-US dollar policy, and arguably he's right. Stablecoins, of course, help maintain USD's reserve currency status. And at least one really great explanation as to why is actually included in this talk that Hoskinson recently gave on when countries adopt crypto.
Cryptocurrencies are not things you adopt because you trust and love government. Cryptocurrencies are not things that you adopt because everything's going great in your society. When things start falling apart, when your money starts falling apart, when there's a lack of trust in government and governance, people start looking for alternative ideas. And we've seen this throughout the arc of history. So if you look at Europe during the turn of the 19th and 20th century, all these new political systems formed because they didn't really like kings and queens. So you had the rise of fascism and communism, and you had the rise of alternative governance concepts, cooperatives, communes, new types of dictatorships, new types of monarchies. When you look at the 21st century, we're in another inflection point in society globally. The consequences of globalization have created a world where those who have are doing very well. And those who do not have, they're starting to feel the pains of inflation. They're starting to feel the pains of globalization. And there's a lot of uncertainty and hopelessness that people have. There's a crisis of meaning and a crisis of value.
Cardano's own stablecoin growth is also moving very quickly as well. For a long time, it was really only JED, D-J-E-D, that was available, but now native minted USDM is doing pretty well. And then keep in mind there are also a couple of other options in the form of bridged versions of both USDT and USDC, courtesy of our friends over at OneChain. The bottom line here is that Trump is going to have a policy team when it comes to cryptocurrency, and Charles Hoskinson, at the very least, will be an integral part of making that happen as far as what the team presents as important information to the Trump administration. That's massive. We also have to talk about Ripple and XRP for a moment because recently they've been everywhere. We did a video on Ripple, XRP, and all the reasons that the project and the token really are poised for an unbelievable 2025. And continuing with the whole stablecoin argument here, Ripple has their own stablecoin, which we covered. It's RLUSD. This is also growing very, very quickly, and in large part that's due to the fact that we have regulatory issues with USDT in Europe. But then some of that growth is also due to the fact that we have more and more countries and banks adopting Ripple's XRPL. That's the XRP ledger. This is the native stablecoin, of course, for that ledger. And so this news that Ripple and Cardano are now working together really is a big deal for fans of both chains. And then you can add to that the potential for RLUSD to become the top alternative potentially to Tether and USDC and its integration into Cardano. Everything seems to be lining up very, very well. We've seen with all the EVM chains that you need stablecoins for trading, for liquidity, and as a place to park the coins that you aren't actively using, but while still keeping them in your ecosystem. And to be fair, Cardano has not had much of this, if I'm going to be honest. They kind of counter this lack of stablecoins with a super high percentage of staked ADA, kind of as a sign of commitment from their community. Cardano does have a very high 60% of its supply in staking right now. Its staking market cap, as shown here at Staking Rewards, is actually number 4 among all projects at now over $20 billion. In a nutshell, this just means that people are committed. And the thing is, people will invest more and will tend to keep their assets on Cardano longer with more stablecoin options like RLUSD. Next, we have to also consider Cardano's significant work in the privacy market. The big project here is Midnight, which works seamlessly as a privacy layer, but not just for Cardano. It adds privacy to Solana and Ethereum as well. And Midnight works as a sidechain for Cardano. In addition to that, and considering Cardano's recent work at becoming a layer 2 for Bitcoin, so they can have better smart contracts, Midnight could also become compatible with Bitcoin. If you think about it, that's very logical. Just listen here to what Hoskinson has to say about the potential of privacy in the RWA market, that's real world assets, and how Midnight works in this market.
Because real estate, security tokens, intellectual property, all these things, the private side is too precious and too regulated to be able to bring into the cryptocurrency industry. But once you have privacy, you can now bring it in, and that's $20 trillion of assets we're talking about. That pie is the biggest pie ever seen in the history of any business endeavor, and that's what privacy does. So Midnight is a solution where we created the first meta chain, and basically the idea is we created a protocol called Minotaur, and it allows us to have multi-resource consensus. So that means the state of the system, as we turn the whole thing on, will be maintained by multiple cryptocurrencies at the same time. Cardano to start, but eventually Solana and Ethereum and other systems, which means we have native observation and bridging with all these different systems, which means it looks like it's a layer 2 to everybody. So Midnight will appear to be a layer 2 of Ethereum, in Solana, in Cardano. And then we have this idea of paying your transaction fees in your underlying currency. So if you're an Ethereum user, you pay in Ether. If you're a Sol user, you pay in Sol. If you're a Cardano user, you pay in ADA. So from your perspective, it's a natural extension of your infrastructure. And then what it's doing for you is privacy as a service and selective disclosure as a service.
We have known for some time that as much as we love what blockchain offers, there will be some limitations, of course, to how much it can grow without that privacy element. But it's not just privacy alone, because as Hoskinson said in the clip that we just watched, it's privacy combined with compliance. There is just no motivation to get on-chain if it's both not private and if the FCA or the SEC or whatever 3-letter organization won't or cannot approve of the transactions. It's just too expensive and too much of a waste of time without these things. And so the appeal of Cardano's Midnight is that it's one of the big projects fighting hard to enable this for users, really regardless of the chain in question. Now, it used to be a running gag on crypto Twitter, crypto X, about who Charles Hoskinson would lash out at next. He didn't always play nice, to put it lightly. The old Charles just kind of loved, for whatever reason, picking fights with other projects. He was certainly in that mentality, in that mode, when he uttered the following quote, "Not only must I win, but my opponents or others must lose." Kind of sociopathic, to be honest. But thankfully, I think most of us would agree, things are a little bit different now. Hoskinson sees the value of cooperation and also sees how multiple problems exist around the world that crypto can solve. Positive steps that Hoskinson has made in the last 6 to 12 months include Aside from the Ripple integrations that I brought up earlier, they include Bitcoin with Cardano acting as a layer 2, USDC integration with Circle, which is right now in the works, major integration with Chainlink, which is also in the works, and a major partnership with Flare Networks, which should be coming pretty much any day now and will serve to improve DeFi protocols. And really, after keeping Cardano and ADA kind of isolated from everyone else and figuratively on their own island, the team, more broadly speaking, under Charles's leadership, seems to be building bridges. That's literally within crypto and figuratively. They're working more cooperatively with other chains and working together. Everyone seems to be benefiting. ADA holders are some of the biggest winners, of course, with all this new collaborative activity. ADA is up 77% in the last 12 months, and we think really for all the reasons that we've discussed in this video, and a couple of others, to be honest, that are beyond the purview of this discussion. We're only just at the beginning. All-time highs all of a sudden are very possible again for ADA, and a lot of promising things, certainly as well for Cardano as a project. Let me know your thoughts about what those all-time highs are going to be in your estimation in 2025, possibly beyond, in the comments below.